Welcome to the Home of the Chiefs podcast, where the Chiefs are our home. I am your host, Clinton Petrie, as always, and I'm joined by my lovely guest, Shannon Rush, the social media person here at KC Sports Company. How are things going on your end for that?
It's going good. We're getting the reels and shorts and everything out. And I was thinking maybe like adding a sketch or some kind of like comedy thing in there. So I want to discuss that with you more. But yeah, I think it's going well.
Yeah, I definitely see our views slowly climbing. And you and I have griped why some things getting stuck or things are getting shared around.
Yeah, it's like it gets stuck and the algorithm doesn't push it out at all.
Yeah, YouTube's strange like that. Some of the videos get like nothing, and then TikTok, every single video at least hits a certain benchmark.
Yeah, at least that one's consistent.
So that's cool. I have a lot of fun doing those. Some of those Royals recaps where we lost 10-0 and there was no positive. Some of those aren't the most fun to put together, but especially ones after wins, those are a lot more enjoyable, a lot more fun. I try to do a little better script writing, try to pick my words better.
You're getting better at it already.
Basic facts like this happened. Yeah, we gotta watch another game tonight and do the same thing all over again. But yeah, I would find that additional sketches fun, intriguing, especially based on what we're going to transition this into, which is our normal first segment starter. Chiefs Twitter news. So I'll admit this week was not as busy in terms of actual news related to the Chiefs itself because we just had the off-season training activities, OTAs, conclude last week. So now everybody else is at home, wherever they reside in, and then they won't reconvene until late July. I believe the date's the 27th. So that's the first time that the entire Chiefs roster will be together again. They'll be down in St. Joe. They'll be on the Wesleyan University campus, chilling in the dorms like small college. They went to schools way bigger than this.
So yeah, it's going to be a different change for them.
Way smaller of a university. I mean, hey, Turk Wharton, I mean, he went to Northwest Missouri State, so I haven't been there. I can't talk about the campus, but I could assume that it's about on par.
Similar, yeah.
But like freaking Patrick Mahomes going from where he's at to sharing a bunk bed with Travis Kelce or something. We can speculate how it is, but we've seen the videos of players bringing, whole mattresses, mattress pads, their own fans, the cooling system,
they
all
get
their
them
entertainment.
All set up in there.
So these guys are like, if I got to be stuck in this dorm room, I got to make it a pimped out dorm room.
Yeah, got to be comfortable.
Got to put all the things I'd be semi used to at home in there. Otherwise, this is going to be more miserable than it should be. Because Andy Reid likes doing that. There was like some speculation last year, the year before that, like, I wonder how long they'll continue this partnership with St. Joe from. But I think it benefits Andy and the Chiefs enough that they, don't want to rock the boat. They like their setup, and the university loves it because it drives revenue.
Yeah,
it drives admission. I'm sure there's some people that's like, oh, the Chiefs go here. That might be an intriguing place to go to school.
Yeah, an incentive for them.
Yeah, the university gets a lot of, pumped up credentials, gets a lot of publicity about, look, the Chiefs are here in St. Joseph. And, they make money off of some parking some days, some admission to some of the events. They're,
concessions.
So there are some events, part of that training camp trip, that are strictly you have to pay every single time.
Oh wow, that's cool.
You usually have to pay for parking every single day, except for the season ticket specific days. So there's 2 days that season ticket members get to, in theory, have exclusive access. They can invite whoever they want, but tries to limit that. You and I went to that season ticket member
Mhm. Yep.
last year. What
Yep.
were your thoughts about that?
It was so much fun. I'm looking forward to going this year because it's seeing them from a different perspective, and you get to be right there with them.
Mhm.
Like right there, you get to look onto the field, see what they're doing. It's cool to see like the practicing and their drills and everything.
Mhm.
It's so neat.
And like Chiefs fans who go to that actually have like the added benefit of knowing that you're seeing like the hardest practices for the
Yeah.
Chiefs, because Andy likes to just throw a whole bunch of stuff
Mm-hmm.
at you beginning of this summertime. So then by September or October, we've whittled down how much we're actually going to do.
Yeah.
So, I can't speculate, but it's like, say he has the offense go over like 30 plays during this off season for the summer.
Mm-hmm.
They might only run like 10 of those
Oh, wow.
for the first couple weeks or something, but it's just to have this next wrinkle that we're going to throw in.
Yeah, like a foundation.
Mm-hmm. Different play designs, and say, oh, well, based on this play that we do, if we see this, then I'm actually going to call this, and that means that you're going to run this way instead of this way, and you're going to be wide open, stuff like that. So, Mahomes, when he was starting on the team, he said that these can be pretty tricky because it's a lot of information, a lot of go.
Yeah, it's like information overload.
What have you retained? What do we still need to work on? Like, what is your, like, I guess, what is your innate reaction to this stuff?
Yeah.
How do you know? What's your gut reaction? What's your, like?
How do you handle adversity?
Mm-hmm. And how do you handle stuff where you don't know?
Yeah.
Everything.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, in NFL plays, they can be freaking really intricate. They could have like 20 different words in it. So, trying to memorize a phone number for some of us normies in one sitting can be difficult. So
yeah, or even like names, people's names.
So saying like 12 words back to back to back and remember the last part of the phrase when you just got the whole thing spit at you. It takes a lot of training of your brain to like retain that information. Like, okay, it didn't just sound like gibberish to me. I know that part, and I'll memorize it in chunks and figure out the important parts. Because a play, the offensive line only cares about the first word you say. The receivers only care about the last word you say.
Yep.
So, but the quarterback has to know everything. Has to spit out everything about it. So that will be fun to watch. I agree. Last year was very fun. For anybody not familiar, they have essentially like 4 different practice fields connected to each other. You'll have the defense on one side, the offense on the other side. You'll have them doing warm-ups, pushing the sled, doing actual, football-related exercises, running their plays.
That. It's so cool.
And, it's cool because you'll see like Mahomes throw a pass to a wide receiver and you're like, oh, that's cool, but you don't know if that receiver's going to do anything big. But you know that getting that catch right there that day in that environment is what will allow them to have more chemistry when the actual games go on, and hopefully in the postseason to make big leaps. So we'll definitely try to make our way back down there again.
Yeah, hopefully we can.
Because it definitely had a lot of fun. It can be very busy and lots of kids, but
there's a lot of kids. It's like geared towards kids, and that's cool because they have like a whole kids section, and then they feed you. We got complimentary flapjacks, pancakes, and sausage. It was so good.
Yep, the season ticket breakfast celebration, basically.
So if you're a season ticket member, don't sleep on the training camp because it's really fun.
And then if this was a real video show, this is where I edited my picture of me and Brett Beach together. But
oh yeah, that was cool.
It's like, you had like various front office people just standing in a location. Hello, would you like pancakes? Oh, you want a picture with me? Fantastic. And it's just like,
so cool.
Okay, I wasn't expecting this much openness, but I'm definitely happy about it. Definitely thrilled.
That's cool that Brett Veach gets down there and interacts with the fans just as much as like the players do, because he could be like a stick in the mud and be like, "Oh, I don't have to do this. I don't have to be here. I don't have to
It's
do
not
anything
part of
like
my
that.
job.
It's not part of my
Yeah,
job."
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, everybody in our organization will go above and beyond what they normally do.
Mhm.
So
Yeah, it was cool to see that last year. And the cheerleaders, they're all there.
and they have certain like autograph days. So if
Mhm.
you want quarterbacks, you got to look and get that ticket for that specific day.
And there will be a line.
Mhm. So if you got kids who want to get all the autographs, you got to go every single day. Just pick up a residency in St. Joseph and keep traveling there every morning.
Yeah,
to
I
get- to
mean,
get
if
your
you had
next
kids, you
autograph.
could get like a hotel for a couple nights. Like,
Yeah, that's definitely an idea for somebody like us.
Mhm.
That is a vacation.
yeah, pretty much.
So we'll transition off of St. Joe talk since we got quite a bit of time before we end up seeing any football plays with Chiefs jersey attached to them.
Hmm.
I want to quickly mention the Chris Jones situation that we talked about last week. He confirmed there was a good reason why I wasn't there. He was sick, and much of the people within the room of the ceremony itself were like, Chris Jones wouldn't miss this unless there was a legitimate
Right.
reason.
Right.
So I'm bringing it up because it got confirmed, but I'm not really adding too much to that conversation because we didn't really have anything to say about it.
Hmm.
And
It just was what it was.
yep, and his contract will get resolved when it does. I don't think he or the Chiefs have any feeling like it won't happen,
Hmm.
and it's just us in the Chiefs Kingdom being like, well, can you announce the news today?
Yeah.
How about tomorrow?
We just want to know.
Like, it will happen sometime in July, and if it hasn't by then we could speculate whose side is delaying or asking for too much or whatever.
Yeah.
But for right now, that's not a concern to me whatsoever. So just wanted to quickly bring that up to say, you all good, Chris?
Yeah. I think that's what everyone really kind of feels that way too in the kingdom. It's just like it is what it is. It's like one of those things.
The best part about the Chiefs organization, especially with Andy Reid, is he allows you to have your own personality. He allows you to be yourself. He allows you to be the character you are.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't ask you to change who you are, who you think, what you believe, how you act, whatever the case. So the Chiefs know that this is how Chris Jones is, and they're more than happy to continue having him, I guess. Not saying he's a nuisance or anything like that. They're unbothered by his quote antics that Chiefs Twitter will say. So then I want to, because we've got a couple of weeks before it goes live, but we've seen the trailers for that Netflix series for the quarterback.
And I'm so excited.
A third of those quarterbacks just happens to be the one who lives here in the kingdom. I am very excited to see even more behind the scenes type stuff to Mahomes, because that like the Chiefs media is curated very well.
Yeah.
They might have some bleepers every once in a while, but they're very conscious about what they will.
They have to be, because they're in that media space, and it's tricky. Where on YouTube it's like allowed, but it's not allowed, so it's like it's a tricky thing.
Yep. And like anybody who's been around athletics knows that intensity, that language, that like mindset is throughout.
Yeah, it's the norm.
It's just startling to us when it's not in that playing field,
Yeah.
But you can tell a person who's very passionate and intense, and Mahomes is that type. There's already been some screen grabs of him crap talking on some people, saying I'm the best. So it will be fun to see Mahomes in that extra uncensored play style, to see those instances that the Chiefs content crew probably didn't want you to notice.
Mhm. What they get to see, but they cut out, so we don't get to see it.
Correct. Correct. You don't know how many F-bombs get dropped in any football game. And
Yeah.
several, but you'll never actually hear any of them.
Mhm.
So, but that will also be exciting just to see like the behind the scenes of him, like preparing for games.
Yeah, what's his
practice and stuff
ritual?
like
What does he do before games?
Because we've seen like some tweets and stuff of his athletic trainer, and we know he practiced. We know he's throwing to receivers on his off time. We know he's overly exercising. That's not like that was a given.
Yeah.
But we're interested in what goes on in the behind the scenes on the sidelines when we can't hear everything that's being said. So I am very excited to watch that when that comes out.
Yeah, I think that'll be a really big series for Netflix. That'll be a big hit.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people are going to watch that.
Mahomes and then two other guys.
Yeah, yep.
Sorry, Kirk. Sorry, Marcus. But, well, I'm not comparing you, but.
Yeah.
Then speaking of comparing, on the New Heights podcast, most recent, we had heard Travis respond to Mr. Chase out of Cincinnati, basically saying, "Don't you ever disrespect my quarterback like that ever again." And clap, clap, clap. Thank you, Travis. Very good response.
Love it.
Very good response. Exactly what you're supposed to say. Everybody knows that it's not trying to be like who's got the bigger schnoz fest.
Yeah.
It's like my guy is good, and that's all I'm going to talk about. It's my guy who's good. I'm not going to say other guy is crap. I'm not going to say this other guy we could have is good or better than who we have.
Yeah.
This is my guy. Step back. Because Travis, even that first, like before that first year that Mahomes started, Travis was all in the Alex Smith camp, 100%, because that was his quarterback. That was who threw him the ball.
Yeah, he worked with him.
So Travis is a loyal guy, and the kingdom is loyal, and we love him for that. So now he's loyal to Mahomes, and be damned if you say anything against it.
Love it. Don't say anything about my quarterback.
That's right. That's right. And then finally, we're going to discuss, speaking of Travis Kelce, he has his annual tight end university where he gets a whole bunch of NFL tight ends and rookies being tight ends in a location and shows them everything he knows. George Kittle's there, show him everything he knows. And maybe Travis sees something that some youngster does, and it's like, oh, that will make me young. So, this type of thing can only make players better. This concept, I think, originated with Von Miller and his pass rushing summit. He gets a whole bunch of edge rushers together. So this was Travis Kelce's response, oh, hey, yeah, that's a great idea. Why don't we get all of our position together? Because tight end is such an anomaly of a football position.
Yeah,
it's like the combination of lineman and a receiver, and depending on where you play, your skill set, what playbooks you run, you might do more blocking versus more passing, or vice versa. So
you go into it kind of not knowing what you're going to do.
So if you're bad at catching, you're like, oh man, I'm going to learn how to catch passes from the great Travis Kelce. Awesome. Or maybe you're not the best at blocking, and you're like, oh, I get to see George Kittle do it straight in front of me. Dang. So
yeah, that's so cool.
Anything that makes NFL on-field play better viewing, better experience, the better it is in general. So anybody who wouldn't be for this idea, I guess I would question, do you want to have not very good play overall, or do you want the NFL to look like this magnificent athletic atmosphere or whatever that
The most professional they can be.
Correct. You want everybody at their most pristine, no matter who they are. So that will be fun to see how that wraps up. And I think we've spoken enough for our first segment. So I'm going to cut to break. And when we return, we will start with our second segment, which is the 2020 COVID season.
What up, KC? On the heels of yet another Kansas City Super Bowl victory, we have an awesome opportunity for you to broadcast your business to the local Kansas City market. We've created something called Kansas City Sports Company, which is a sports media hub for multiple live shows, all of which cover all the local Kansas City teams. Now, we have 30-second ad spots, 60-second ad spots, we have event sponsorships, studio sponsorships, show sponsorships, and much, much more. This is a great opportunity for you to start early with us and broadcast your business to a very dedicated, very enthusiastic Kansas City audience. Contact me or hit the Contact Us link on our website to learn more about this opportunity.
And welcome back to the Home of the Chiefs podcast for our second segment, where we will be diving into the COVID 2020 season.
The infamous season.
That started out very well and then drowned in Tampa Bay. So I think the appropriate place to start this conversation is literally the heels of the Super Bowl parade of the 2019 into 2020 postseason. So Chiefs just won the Super Bowl. They had their parade in downtown Kansas City. And then less than a month later, this mysterious virus is rampaging the NBA, and then it cancels the Big 12 championship tournament that happens here in Kansas City, and just a lot of other close down, stay at home, don't leave your house.
Got laid off.
Scares.
I did. You were fine because you can work from home, but yeah, a lot of layoffs, a lot of different things going on, and I honestly didn't think they were going to play a full
season at all. Yeah. I think a lot of people had that idea that, like, oh no, we just canceled the rest of basketball.
Mm-hmm. Once that and the Big 12 championship was canceled, I was like, this is serious.
It's like everything is going to be shut down for sure. And then, there was enough time. It was like 6 months, 7 months or whatever before actual NFL would be starting anyway. So a lot of that was zoomed, don't come here, don't come near us type of scare to it still. And then the Chiefs had announced that only like highest priority, longest tenured members would get to go to the games within Arrowhead that season. So
yeah, they were only allowing like 10,000 people.
I think about that. So if the capacity for Arrowhead right now is about 70,000. Then they probably dropped at a seventh or eighth total of people. So we are not high in priority. We were not tenured. So not going wasn't an option. But we're basically told, do you want to get refunded for the year or just pay it forward for the next season? And there was no if, ands, or buts conversation.
Yeah, it was
for
no
us.
question.
It was like, okay, if we don't get this season, we're definitely getting the next season. And hey, cool, I guess that season's paid for. I paid for this season.
Yeah, that was
2
nice.
years early, I guess.
It was nice that they had that option because we honestly did not know what we were going to do at that point. And then they gave us that option. It was like, oh, yeah, okay.
And especially nowadays where every ticket gets more expensive the next year from something. So the fact that, okay, you don't have to pay us anything extra. We took your money last year.
Yep.
So I don't need any additional money for this year. So that was a silver lining to know that, okay, we don't get to go to the games this season, but the entirety of next year is already covered for. So yeah, I was excited for the 2020 season because we had just won Super Bowl, but by that point, it became being more excited to be there again,
Yeah.
not just watch the team
True.
on TV.
True.
So we digested that information, knew we were going to essentially spend all of this 2020 season watching from our home TV like we did in 2018,
Mm-hmm.
which, the circumstances around us was probably the best thing to do.
Yeah,
But
since we're immunocompromised and everything.
It
it's
still wasn't ideal because when you're a fan, you want to be around more fans. You feed off
like,
that energy that the actual team or game gives you, but then you also feed off of the fan over there's energy or the person behind you or something like that. So not having that community related to football during that time was difficult and did not feel the same as it does.
And watching it on TV, it didn't feel like, it felt like they were practicing. It didn't really feel like they were playing an actual game because the fans weren't there. There was no noise. Like they were actually like pumping in crowd noise from the speakers.
Yep. Jason Kelsey off their latest New Heights had mentioned, got asked about playing in a no stadium because there was some, I guess the Midwest is quote lucky that we allowed some people, but like in New York. In California and places like that, they were just zero at all. So
it was barren. It was weird actually.
So it's like I don't know what's weird to look at, a stadium with absolutely nobody or a stadium with little scattered groups.
Yeah.
I mean, either way, it makes it look lesser than it usually is.
Makes it look like it's not a game and it's something different than a game.
Like they feed off of energy as well. So if the stadium's quiet because you can only pump in so much noise and I'm trying to talk through a face mask.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
So that in itself is difficult, trying to get loud and get hot and sweaty with a
it's
mask
like you
on.
Can't yell at all because like we were all worried about it flying through the air. So.
Yeah. Because then after that, when the 2021 season was opened up and there was no restrictions of any kind, we would still see like the occasional people wearing masks. That was their choice.
Yeah, it was like older people or like people that were like our age too.
Yeah, you think of it as like somebody who's not always from here or somebody who is way more compromised than us.
I was wearing it through the concourse. I wasn't wearing it when I was in the stands, but through the concourse, remember I would put it on and be like, oh, I'm just going to pop it on. And they would make you wear it if you went into the pro shop and anywhere that was like in close quarters. And
that's right.
Off.
And stop taking any sort of cash whatsoever within the stadium.
Yeah, they became cashless, which is kind of nice, but kind of annoying to some people.
A lot of middle-aged older people are cash fiends only, so that bothered them.
Yeah.
So
trying to think of what else was different.
Finally got to go back 21, but throughout 2020, it feels such a blur.
Yeah.
Because we won pretty much every single game except I want to say it was the John Gruden Wheels on the Bus game, where the only game we lost in the regular season was when John Gruden with the Raiders drove around the parking lot.
Oh, I think it was. I think you're right.
So that was the one loss, and then they lost the last game of the season against the Chargers, but they had everybody important benched. So they were expecting to lose that game on purpose because the game didn't matter.
Didn't matter.
So they only lost one legitimate game all season, and it was to the Raiders. So rivalries do exist, y'all.
Yeah, they're still there too.
So, we had some high moments. Won majority of our games. But it was really just a blur. There were some games that might be more notable, like game in Philadelphia, game in Miami, the home opener with the holding holding arms with Texans.
Right. Yep. I liked that.
But yeah, that year was all different because they had the banner dropping like months before that, already in an empty stadium.
Yep.
So it's nice that this year coming up, everything's back to normal, that we get to be there when they drop winning Super Bowl
That will
57
be
as well. But yeah, you just had this thought like, man, I'm missing out. And maybe the circumstances aren't as valid as they should be, why I'm missing out, but just sucks to not be a part of that experience after we had just decided, okay, yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, we had just decided the year before, let's do it. Let's shell out the money every year to go see our Chiefs and be season ticket members. And then it kind of threw a wrench into everything.
Yep. It's like, okay, I guess maybe we're bad luck. The first year we go all year round, we get the Super Bowl victory, but then we also cause COVID. So Super Bowl, COVID, I guess they're even. We will take it, I guess. If that's what it had to take.
Yeah,
The Chiefs win the Super Bowl and the whole world shuts down. Well, it's just the cost of business, I guess.
Yep. Trade-off.
But they make it through the playoffs, and then they lose their essentially both starting offensive tackles prior to the Super Bowl. And I don't know about you, but I was still feeling really confident. I mean, maybe that's just the downside to being a fair-weathered fan, that like, oh, my team just won it all last year. So of course they're going to do it this year as well. But Tom Brady, we played him once in Tampa Bay, and we beat them hard, but then they started making that comeback later in the game. So that should have been a red flag to everybody that, this Tom Brady isn't that old. Their defense
He's not done.
Pretty good.
He's still kicking.
And then, I don't know how much of it, how much of the loss has to do with the Britt Reed situation that literally happened right before that.
Yep, that's right. I do remember that happened right before.
He definitely had the appearance like everybody was lacking energy. And when you are like as fiery and passionate of a football team as we are, that Mahomes is, it was a recipe for disaster.
Yeah.
Ultimately, the defense for Tampa just kept getting to Mahomes after every second. Mahomes can only do so much. They've got his signature, I'm jumping and I'm sideways.
Oh, yeah.
In this year's Madden, but I mean, it smacked off Tyreek's face, smacked off Travis's hand. So as great, as magical as Mahomes is and was at that moment, and honestly still is now, he still needs his guys to step up. He still needs his guys to be there for him. He can't do everything by himself, and we wouldn't want him to.
He needs that line of protection.
He needs protection, and he needs guys that dependably catch the ball. And I love that Brett Veach saw that game and was like, never again.
Yeah.
So now if you are any offensive lineman whatsoever, we will bring you in. We want you because he's standing up Mahomes is the best Mahomes. So right after that game, they had to say goodbye to both their starting tackles because Schwartz was injured majority of the year, and he's pretty much retired since then. And Eric Fisher was in for a long, long recovery. Yeah. And he's bounced around in a few teams, but has not had the reliability like he did here. So Brett Veach corrected. We brought in Joe Thuney, which we're all saying, why would you pay that much for a guard? But then you watch him play.
And you're like, oh, that's why.
The man's a robot. He never makes a single mistake. He always does the right thing at the right time. He's Mitchell Schwartz, but as a guard. So when you saw that, you're like, okay, no, I get it. He played with Tom Brady in New England before that. So good deal. And then they traded for Orlando Brown with their first round pick. Chiefs Kingdom can feel however we will about Orlando Brown. We can say it worked out best. It worked out well for both parties in the end.
Yeah. That's how I feel.
But and then we were still carrying Andrew Wiley over from last year, and a lot of people are saying, "Oh, will he be able to hold up? Can he do that?" And into 21 and all throughout last year, he proved he could be starter level.
Yeah.
And then we got Nick Bolton for the defense, but we got Creed. We got Creed Humphrey and Trey Smith in that same draft after the Super Bowl L. So Brett Veach overcorrected intentionally to make the offensive line the best he could.
Yeah. Yeah, he did a good job.
So 3 of those people are obviously still on the team now. Orlando Brown and Andrew Wiley both got paid to go somewhere else. Good for them. They deserve that. I knew and the Chiefs knew they weren't going to give them any remotely close to those numbers. So now we got Jawan Taylor for this year, possibly Donovan Smith as another starter. We have some returning tackle guard, whoever wants, depending on who you ask, Yang, Darian Kennard. And then we got like Wanya Morris this year. So it's a competition, and the Kingdom is scary because they saw, oh no, if our tackles are bad, if our tackles aren't good, then we saw what happened in the Super Bowl.
Yep.
But we also have Andy Reid on our team who can give help to wherever, whenever is needed. And he did that.
Yeah.
The several years that we had Orlando Brown and Andrew Wiley, he gave accommodations to help them out. And that's why they decided, I don't want to pay you this much money when I still have to give you a handicap.
Right.
So
Yep.
now it could be a case of, okay, well, rookie salary, rookie that. You're young, you're impressionable. We trust our coaching staff. We trust our philosophy and what we do and how we run things. So we can take that chance.
Yep.
We can go ahead and change everything and still work out. That was a lot of the concern after that Tom Brady Super Bowl is like, okay, well, if we don't have our tackles anymore, so we're even like more worse off.
Yeah, we're going to be worse off.
But we saw Brett Veach corrected and made that change. So we know as fans now that if Brett Veach sees something that needs fixed, he will do something to fix it. He will not say, nope, this is fine the way it is.
Yeah.
He'll just go with it. So
yeah, he'll take action. He'll be the one to be like, let's change it. Let's see something different.
Yep. So 2020, the year ends. We go into 2021, just off the Super Bowl L. Tom Brady's throwing his trophy into the bay, and we're just sitting at home festering like, I can't wait to get you guys next year. Hopefully we get a chance to get you next year.
Yeah.
So we evidently we know already what happens that next year, but again, we were really excited to be back.
Yes.
So that is a good place for us to wrap off for here. So stay tuned for the next episode where we dive into the 2021 season and the sad ending that was. But we know that the segment after that will be more positive.
Yeah.
So thank you all for joining us for the Home of the Chiefs podcast presented by KC Sports Company. Have a great rest of your day and go Chiefs!